I can't seem to shake this horrible feeling. It's like a sixth sense going off, leaving me in a constant state of anxiety-ridden fear. It's been weeks of this. I've tried to rationalize what's happening the best I can, but for the life of me, I can't find a logical explanation. At this point, I'm just looking for some advice now. Finn and I have been together for a little over 2 years, mostly through long distance while I'm finishing up my degree. Things have been wonderful, and I've experienced some of the happiest moments, at least up until a few weeks ago when it all started. It wasn't until my first night back at his place over the summer that I started to notice anything. We must have dozed off around midnight. I remember jolting awake at 2:57 a.m., flashing on the screen of Finn's alarm clock. I couldn't tell you what woke me up, but whatever it was, stayed quiet enough for Finn to stay soundly asleep. I felt a shiver go down my spine, and that horrible, anxious sixth sense sounding alarms in my head. Given the placement of Finn's bed, I had a clear view of his bedroom, bathroom, and closet door, which all set against the same wall. Through the darkness, my eyes darted from corner to corner, but I didn't see anything unusual. I just couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. After a few more seconds of investigating, it hit me. His bedroom door sat against the wall, wide open. We weren't the type of people to sleep with our bedroom doors open, and over the years, I'd even picked up the habit of locking mine before bed, and could have sworn I did so this night. My heart sank to my stomach as my eyes adjusted to the darkness. A figure loomed in the doorway, staring back at me. I guess I assumed someone broke in. I don't know. Whatever it was, stood quietly, watching me as I frantically fumbled around the sheets with my hand, searching to shake Finn awake. "Huh?" Finn murmured groggily. It took a step closer, towering above the door frame. Keeping my eyes on the figure, I aggressively shook Finn's shoulder. "Finn," I hissed under my breath, petrified tears forming in my eyes. "Finn, there's someone here." With my other hand, I felt along the nightstand until I came upon my phone. "What?" He sat up, rubbing his eyes awake. Another step closer. Looking at me, Finn nudged my face towards him and wiped my tear-stained cheek. "Babe, what's going on?" I pressed my home button, hoping to call 911, but the screen stayed black. "There's someone in the room," I whispered hysterically, hitting my phone in a poor attempt to make it turn on. Using his phone, Finn turned on the flashlight and moved the light around the room. "Nobody's here, babe," he said. Looking up from my phone's blank screen, I made the same discovery. Sure enough, the room was empty and the bedroom door soundly shut. After explaining what I'd seen, Finn argued that I woke up from a bad dream, that nothing was there, and with the alarm system, nothing would have gotten in. I forced him to search the house, gluing myself to him as he walked down the stairs with an old baseball bat in hand. He didn't find anything and didn't believe me, but I know what I saw. Since then, I haven't been back other than for a dinner date, and even that night, I knew something was wrong. I've slept at my mother's house ever since. I told Finn I missed my family, even though the reality was being too afraid to sleep at his place ever again. We FaceTime every night as a habit. Being long distance is anything but easy, so we've tried to make the distance less noticeable, like sleeping on FaceTime or talking throughout the day. 2 nights ago, he said he'd be up late with the boys and didn't want to bother waking me up, so I went to bed without calling. Around 3 a.m., I woke up to my phone ringing and Finn's contact picture lighting up the screen. "Hello?" I answered the FaceTime groggily. It was dark and silent. "Babe, are you there?" I asked again. No response. "I thought you weren't calling tonight, silly. Guess you missed me too much," I joked. The call ended. After a few minutes of feeling really weird and honestly concerned, I called back. It took a few rings for him to finally answer, and when he did, he sounded like he'd been asleep for hours. "Hey, is everything okay?" I furrowed my brows. "Yeah, everything is fine. I was just calling you back. Did your phone die?" "What are you talking about?" he asked, wiping his eyes. "You just called me," I said. "Just didn't talk or anything. Maybe you fell asleep after you dialed." There was a pause. "I didn't call you, babe. I've been asleep for like an hour." His screen paused as he clicked out of the call. "No outgoing call to you. Maybe you were dreaming." Alarm bells went off in my head. "Maybe. It just feels a little weird. Listen, I have to be up in a few hours. I know you've been on edge lately, but please, put this behind you. You're just under stress," he said, coming back to the call. "I love you. Please get your mind off whatever you thought you saw." I nodded and asked him to stay on the phone until he left for work in the morning. I don't like feeling crazy or experiencing horrible anxiety without cause. I understand the "I saw something in the middle of the night" bit is easily dismissible, but the feeling I'm having isn't. I've always felt like women have special senses of danger. It's knowing when to walk a little quicker to your car on a late night, or grouping yourself with other women at a bar. It's knowing you aren't safe in your environment. Last night threw me over the edge, and I haven't let Finn back into his apartment. We FaceTimed as usual, and fell asleep after some sitcom watching. I woke up to rustling on the phone, which I usually muted to spare me from his snoring. I checked the clock to see if it was time for him to go to work. It was 2:57 a.m. I watched the screen, looking for Finn. It was clear the phone was moving in the dark, seeing the ceiling move from the dim glow of the window. "Finn," I called out. It stopped. "Babe?" I asked again. It started again, this time passing his ceiling fan. There was a soft thud against his nightstand, and I now looked at what seemed to be an upward-facing view of his bedside lamp. "Hey, what's going on?" At this point, my heart was racing. There was a muffled groan and movement from what sounded like bed sheets. "Babe," I said firmly. "What's wrong?" he groaned sleepily. I explained to him what I'd seen and asked if everything was okay. He assured me he'd been asleep and didn't know what I was talking about. "Finn, please check your room." After some more pressuring, he gave in and checked his closet, bathroom, and remainder of his apartment with the phone in his hand. "I told you, it was nothing." "Someone was in your bedroom. Someone unmuted the phone and was walking around your fucking bedroom," I responded. I finally convinced him to come over, and I haven't let him go back since, even though he had his apartment searched by a couple of friends who came back with the same verdict he expected: empty. I've read stories of strangers living in people's attics and have been scared shitless that someone has been watching him. I've heard of people being toyed with like they're some kind of prey before something horrible happens. I don't believe this is all in my head, and tonight verified that. It's 3:16 a.m., and Finn is beside me fast asleep in my own bed, in my own home. His phone is charging on the bedside table, and I'm looking at its blank screen right now. So, if Finn is fast asleep beside me and not at home anymore, why did I just receive a FaceTime from his contact? Why was it another blank screen moving around his bedroom? I'm not sure what's going on. I feel like I'm living in a Black Mirror episode, and I'm too afraid to fall asleep.
Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you had a good scare or two. And if you did, give this video a thumbs up so we can spread the nightmares around. Stay haunted, my friends. I'll see you next time.